I'm delayed. Okay, that's fine. What is it? 3.7? Can you hear me?
Yep.
So the question is, when do I see that we go live? It says live 25, 26, 27, 28. There we go. Oops. We are live. Welcome to the CanesWear live podcast. Today is a great day. It's what do we got today, Gio? Tuesday, April 7th. We got 6 days into April. That means we're getting closer and closer to the season right now. It's going to be here before we know it. We have another couple of weeks of spring practice. We got the spring game coming up. Lots of exciting things going on. I am pumped. Missed you on the last show. Gio did a phenomenal job on his own with Mando, actually. You guys were great. And I saw you yesterday with Amon, Gio. You guys were fantastic as well. So great stuff. CanesWear TV is lighting up. Thank you to all the amazing people that keep on coming and watching us. Lots of things going on. I've got a new shirt that we've got just came in. Hello, Mando. How you doing? Welcome to the show. New shirt here. This is the new Tammy Amy. It's called the Slacker or something like that. I don't know about Slacker, but it's got the it's from Columbia, the Columbia company. It's a PFG. It's great for fishing, great for going out, great for going to the games. It's awesome. And it just came in. It's awesome. I think we got about 150 we just bought, so it's a great deal. And a lot of other good stuff going on. So exciting times.
Don't worry about that.
Remember to like and subscribe to the CanesWear channel. We want to bring you lots and lots of good things, former players, a lot of other exciting things. Remember, just keep checking us out. Like and subscribe, and CanesWear.com sponsored by us. So I got so much going on in my brain. I'm excited. I'm going to be doing some extra special things this day. So right now, excited. Let me bring on Gio, our superstar himself, who's been watching the practices and has a ton of information. Welcome, Gio.
Thank you, Brett. Thank you. Just a little bit of information for everyone. The CanesWear 16th year anniversary is coming right around the corner. A lot of special things in store that will be announced soon that Brett will be sharing. I know a bunch of you have been wondering about apparel, certain things and whatnot, certain items that you're all looking for. Stay tuned for that because there's going to be plenty of announcements. And
Gio, let me just cut you off 1 second. I'm going to announce this, but I see Juan Manuel's name up there. So today and tomorrow, if you buy online for this show, just show only, and anyone else that hears about it, it takes $16 off any $50 purchase at CanesWear.com or on the mobile app. Download CanesWear.com on your Google or Android, your Google or Apple store. So $16 off any $50 or more purchase. The discount code for our man Juan Manuel, I can see, is on deck and ready to go with his first questions. J as in Juan, M as in Manuel, V as in Ventura. JMV16 gets you $16 off a $50 purchase. So this shirt here is a special shirt. It's like $110. We've got it for $98. You can get $16 off it. You get $16 off anything in the store for $50 or more. So right now, did you get that, Mando? JMV16, $16 off any $50 purchase for our 16th anniversary, and we'll be doing stuff all month long. So Gio, take it back.
Yep, shared the code up there for anyone that missed it. JMV16, $16 off any $50 purchase. Code is live. You could use it on CanesWear.com, or more especially use it on the CanesWear app. Like Brett said, you could download it. You see it right on the below ticker, Google and Apple stores. You could find it there. Take advantage. There's going to be more things like this that happen when we go live. There's going to be a lot of incentive for our viewers for you to continue coming back and sticking with us, and the appreciation and support that we all love. Thank you so much. Mando, how are you doing, man?
Hey, what's up, guys? Sorry, I was having some prepping issues, but I'm good now. I just got home like 5 minutes ago. What's going on? How you guys doing?
You look like you have a static image right now.
I know. It looks like
No,
you just came out of the gym.
It's the new lighting system here. I don't know.
I love it.
Oh, does it look okay? All right.
It looks great. It looks great. I mean, if my eyes were any better, I'd see you in double.
How you guys doing?
Doing well, man. Hey, Canes baseball doing a little better. They got a little bit of a tough stretch coming up though.
Yeah, they're kicking butt tonight against FIU, and Derek Williams just hit another home run. He was
Wow.
ACC Player of the Week, and just continues dominating. They've really turned the corner. They had a rough stretch, and we talked about it. Me and Gio talked about it last week when you were out, Brett. That Siskar, their number one starting pitcher, was out, but he came back Friday. Had a rough stretch to begin the game, but settled down, and yeah, they're 23-7. They're playing good ball. They've really turned it around.
That's amazing. What did we win? 10 in a row?
No, but they've won a couple ACC series, and they've lost 7, but they're 20. Like I said, 23-7. Much better ACC performances this season than last season to start the season. So it looked a little shaky a few weeks, about a month ago, but they're picking it up now. They're playing. Their lineup is fierce. They got Max Galvin back, who was their starting left fielder. So that's big. Their lineup right now, they got guys on the bench that could genuinely start anywhere in the country, probably.
Wow.
So their lineup is pretty fierce right now. It's going to be pitching. It's going to determine how far they go.
Well, that's good to know. So it's 23-7. Any idea where we were at this time last year, Mando, after 30 games?
No, until like a late streak, late in the season, their ACC record was abysmal. Their conference record was terrible.
Yeah, it was like, I think it was like late April. Like when they got to get rolling last year.
Yeah. But they're doing better, man. Sports at the U are they're peaking, man.
This is also what I said too. This is also
sorry, go Gio.
There's also what I said too some weeks back when the discussion came up after Miami finished that ACC series with Duke, that fans are like, they wanted to rip off JD's head. They were like, oh no, get him out of there, or whatever. And I said, look, hey, I'm gonna take a step back for a moment because I remember how last year went, and things were extremely rocky throughout the whole beginning of the year. And then they turned it around, and people were asking the question like, oh, is he on the hot seat? I'm like, he's not on the hot seat right now. Like, he's got a whole season to play out. Like, sometimes fans want the head guy's head chopped off, like within.
Well, you got to let things play out, because look, they lost what I think it was maybe like roughly a month and a half ago. They lost 2 out of 3 to Boston College. They wanted JD's head on a platter, but come to be that Boston College has been playing great ball and beating a whole bunch of teams. So you never know how things turn out. In any sport, for that matter.
Heck, Alabama, I remember when Alabama lost to Clemson in the championship in football, people were like, fire Nick Saban. I mean, they're just, after you won multiple championships, it's like, okay. It's like, what have you done for me lately? What have you done for me this last game? Did you win or lose? If you lost, you might as well pack your bags.
There you go.
So it's crazy. I posted something today on X about the transfer portal in basketball. I think I saw one thing that said 1,500 players, and there's 5,500, and that's not including all the kids that I think that are going to graduation and moving on, or that's include. I think that number's really small than 5,500. Something I saw was 2,600. I mean, is the whole entire. I mean, when we get a guy to stick, it's like, wow, he's coming back. He's coming back after a freshman year. Fantastic. It's like. Nobody, if you're coming back now, you're an anomaly. It's like, he's coming back. Who knew? It's like everybody has to move.
That's the funny thing about it is the announcements now from players that, like exactly like you said, like, hey, I'm coming back. Like to me, it's so weird because even when the transfer portal, like in the beginning of its inception, you never really saw that of players putting out announcements. Hey, I'm coming back, even though I still had eligibility remaining anyways. It was kind of like, that thought process was, like, well, where else you're going unless you announce that you're entering the portal. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, like people are giving came back. Well, we're running it back. And other people, we're running it back. Okay, are we going to go to the NFL or are we going to come back? Now it's like, I'm a freshman going to be a sophomore. I'm coming back.
Yeah, it's like people are giving Michigan flack. Oh, they bought the championship. They had a bunch of well, I mean, I forgot who I was listening to earlier today on the road at work. The coaches come and go. Like, I
Mhm.
mean, nobody's, so the last time guys stuck around, they even said it was the coach of Michigan, Dusty. He was a coach at FAU. They went to the Final Four, and they actually all came back. The
Yeah.
players all came back because he stayed. Then when he left, then there was a mass exodus of players leaving, et cetera.
Correct.
But Michigan, you could just tell by the eye test watching the game yesterday in the beginning. Size-wise, they were like twice the size of UConn. And you got to whether you like him or not. And I know he's got his detractors and supporters, but Hurley's got a hell of a coach because if you look at the eye test, UConn didn't even belong on the court with that team yesterday. Michigan looked so much bigger, and they held Michigan down. Michigan didn't really do much on offense the whole game.
Correct. That game was. I
was
mean, I
close.
know they had a little lead, but if Connecticut could have hit 3-pointers in the second half, would have. I mean, they were 0 for 11. Shots were going in and out, but hey, it just shows that recruiting again is not as important as the transfer portal. Look, we built a whole team, brand new players. Michigan's whole starting five was transfer portal guys. So I know Duke went out and got obviously the Boozer brothers. Paid him a fortune, obviously, like everybody else. I still think if we would have got the Boozer brothers, who knows how far we would have gone? Probably a lot further. But now, I mean, another step for the transfer portal over recruiting. It's like, why you can just bring in new guys every single year.
Well, we made our picks on here. I picked Arizona, and they were smoking people till they met Michigan. Michigan just smacked them in the Final Four. So.
A quick note I'll say about transfer portal wise for Miami basketball. There's one familiar name in the portal that I do expect them to pursue, and Caden Lewis, who they came really close to landing last year. I think a reunion there will take place between him and Jay Lucas. There's a lot of ties between the two. And then the Georgia center as well that just entered the portal. Mm-hmm. He's averaged basically almost a double-double the entire season. I think that is one that's going to make a lot of sense for Miami. I know there's some early interest there. There's going to be more names that pop up, but I think the basketball team, at least roster composition-wise, I think they could be even better next year, just like top to bottom. I'm really impressed with what Jay Lucas has done in very short time, and I'm really looking forward to what he does in the talent acquisition aspect of things. I've seen it through the way he does things in recruiting. Like, it's just Miami's on a different level right now compared to the past with how they're recruiting in basketball. And I'm pleasantly looking forward to the type of interest from players they're going to get this offseason compared to last year. Even though they still put a good team together, I'm just curious, like, where can it go from here? I mean, first-year coach, finished third in the ACC, tied most wins in a regular season in program history. Sky's the limit from here. I mean, for a guy that constructed that team with so little time and basically the entire roster, because everyone was gone off the previous team, just tremendous job from him. I'm looking forward to what he's going to accomplish this offseason, what he's going to accomplish in the future. I think the future is extremely bright for the basketball program down in Coral Gables. It's exciting times. And like Mario Cristobal said over a month ago, he said it is the golden age of athletics at the University of Miami. And I believe so. I believe it is.
Absolutely. Yeah, it definitely is. They got the support of the administration. What did you guys think of the North Carolina hiring former Nuggets coach Michael Malone?
I think it's interesting. Surprised that he went to college. I wasn't really expecting that, but we'll see how it works out. They definitely needed that change, though. The prior coach they had that nice run the first year and then got progressively worse. But
there are so many great North Carolina players. I remember Phil Ford was on the staff for years. I don't think he ever got a chance. A little older now. But I don't know. Is he he's not a North Carolina guy, Malone, correct?
No, his daughter plays, if I'm not mistaken, volleyball there. And that's where the correlation.
Okay, now there I see the relationship.
So there was a lot of rumors about Billy Donovan taking the job, and there was also
that would be perfect, Billy Donovan.
He was mentioned. Jerry Stackhouse was mentioned. I think he was the coach of Vanderbilt.
North Carolina legend.
But from hearing, I think I heard Jay Billis say yesterday that he's not going to have a problem with the NIL. I mean, he coached guys money wise. Nikola Jokic, the guy's probably the best player in basketball, and he's money wise, he's used to coaching, the best of the best. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes with him.
I don't know. Going from the NBA to if you've never coached in college, and all these kids now are 18-year-old millionaires and 19-year-old. I think it's going to be.
Yeah.
It shocked me. You asked how I felt. It was a shocking move.
Yeah. It got the endorsement of Roy Williams and Michael Jordan, supposedly, who obviously are doesn't get any bigger when it comes to North Carolina. So I'm sure that had a big factor involved. So see how it goes. Yeah. But as far as Miami, pretty much all sports. But when you talk about the big three sports and football, basketball, baseball, I mean, damn, I can't remember a time when all three are clicking right now like the way they are.
This will be spectacular. This is, like as Mario says, the golden age, and we've had plenty of golden ages, but we need another one, that's for sure. So remember, today we're back. I'm a little slow. I had a root canal yesterday, so I'm a little bit slow on the uptake. So if you don't get me, I apologize for that. I don't get myself either. Sorry.
I got to get to the dentist soon myself.
Anyway, JMV, in honor of Juan Manuel, JMV 16 gets $16 off a $50 purchase. We just got this cool shirt from Columbia. We've got lots of other new polos in that look great. We've got other great stuff coming. We've got tons of socks coming in this week. We've got a lot of great stuff coming in every single day now. So we're getting closer. We're April now, which is the 4th month of the year. Let's see, that makes May, June, July.
It's flying by, man. It's flying by.
August. So basically 4 months here till we're really getting going. And it's really exciting. CanesWear is getting all the new stuff in and starting soon, but every day, but July especially is coming in, and we're right around the corner. That's what happens when you play for national championship. The off season is so fast.
One thing I definitely wanted to bring up, and I watched Who Wants to Smoke with Gio and Amon. It was fantastic. Amon had a quote which really took me aback, but obviously he played the game, knows a lot more than me. I'm just a fan, but we were talking about Josh Moore in the last episode, me and Gio, about how he's looked in camp, etc. He said, in his own words, that from the eye test of what he's seen there, and he's looking like the most talented guy on the roster other than Malachi. And I was like, whoa, like he's been that impressive according to everything you read and hear. So that's got me. I get it. It's practice, but it's exciting, man. This guy looks the part. Let's see what happens in this season for him.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing too. It's just with Josh Moore, even dating back to last year, it's just all about consistency, because there was some practices a year ago. He had one of them specifically. He had like 3 touchdowns in one practice. And there was flashes. It was just more so putting it together on a daily basis, and that's what's being shown now. It's not just one day he's really good and the next, he's just kind of going through the motions. No, this is every single day that he is producing, and that's the biggest revelation this spring, is that it's the jump that he's taken in his second year. And we always talk about this, that everyone has different developmental timelines. Some people, they may be ready out of the gate, like a Malachi Tony. Someone may need 2 years. Some people even need 3 years. I always say that, my rule of thumb, what I've always believed in, you truly know what you have in a player by the time they're entering their 3rd year. I think you really have a good general idea of who they are by then. So really excited for what Josh Moore can be. I said it before spring. People were asking, who do you think could be the 3rd wide receiver? I was banking on his development, taking that next step this spring. I felt like he gives Miami the most upside as that other starting receiver. And I'm still going to continue to ride on that train. I think Josh Moore, if you want this offense to reach its ceiling, you absolutely want him to continue on the trajectory that he's on. You're talking about a guy that's 6'4", 220, can actually run, can get downfield, can high point the ball, and can play through contact as well. Just from a pure potential standpoint, you kind of think of all those things put together, and you start to get really excited about what he can be. So I know, again, some people will probably point back to we heard that JoJo Trader had a really good spring last year. That wasn't a lie. Yeah. That's why I say as long as Josh Moore continues on that trajectory, that this carries from now into fall camp and into the season, I think he could have a pretty big year. And I do think he could be a starter. Absolutely. And I think he can be a difference maker. I think the whole receiver room can be very explosive. I mentioned that in the thumbnail for the people that clicked on right before we started and whatnot. I mentioned about explosive offense, the running back competition, also even just potential breakout candidates for this year. And this is kind of like piggybacking off of some of the conversation that I had with Amon yesterday when we had Who Wants Smoke going on, bringing our show back and everything, which thank you everyone for the love and support yesterday. It was tremendous. I see how many people love that show. We made it happen to bring it back. And but sticking on point here, the explosiveness of the offense this year, I think key guys that is obviously bringing Malachi Toney back, having a guy like Josh Moore take that next step because he has that ability to get vertical. A guy like Vandrevius Jacobs, who, some people, you watch that South Carolina tape and a lot of people think, oh, well, he's like a go route guy. No, like me and Amon spoke about it yesterday that he can play underneath. You can use him in the quick game. I just think that mixture of a lot of these guys they've brought in and returning guys at the wide receiver position, coupled with Darian Mensah's strengths. He was the best deep passing quarterback in the country last year by the metrics. I think Miami can absolutely be very explosive on offense this year. I think you could see them spread it out more, maybe a little less condensed. I know fans have complained about that, saying, why are we condensing things so much? I think it was more tailored last year to kind of what Carson Beck's strengths are. And nothing wrong with that because Carson Beck, it wasn't just – it was him and the team together collectively that carried Miami to a national championship appearance. So it definitely worked out. But I think just from a natural standpoint, like the type of offense that Shannon Dawson runs, I think Darian Mensah, like I've said before, and I said it to Amon yesterday, and he agreed with me, I think Darian Mensah fits this offense more like a glove. I think there's some similarities there to Cam Ward, not a one-for-one. I think both have areas where they're stronger than one or the other. But I do think that Darian Mensah is a very good fit for this offense. And I hate it for the fans that whoever is going to the spring game, you're probably not going to see the true spring game. That's going to be this weekend with the last scrimmage leading up to the spring game. But I'm really confident about where Miami's at this point of the year. I know several people had questions about no spring portal this year, but I think the roster is constructed very well. And I think just going forward too, you also saw it coming into this offseason. Miami's not going to have a need to bring in like 15 or 20 transfers anymore. They could selectively pick to enhance the roster on top of what they already have because they've recruited so well from the high school level.
No, it's definitely the Mario plan, exactly what he wanted. And I know several of us doubted at times what Mario could do on the field, but this year, not only is he recruiting, not only has recruited, and everybody, you remember last year, I remember we're doing a show and people were saying, will Mario ever get another big recruit? Like, will Mario ever get another big recruit? Now, he got a recruit and we were like, hey, look, Mario got somebody. We didn't think he'd get anybody again. But now that he proved on the field last year, we had to win. His back was against the wall. I mean, if you're not excited, if you're not bleeding orange, green, I went and getting my blood test and I saw orange blood coming out. The lady was said, no, it's okay. There's the Band-Aid and everything like that.
No, but being the way the store did this whole football season, I would have thought that green would have been pouring out of you, No, but it's crazy that a few months back or even before last season, you'd be hard pressed for local kids to be like, okay, I don't know. But now it's probably stunning when a kid doesn't come here. It's crazy. Just literally.
A great point, Mando.
Right?
Yes.
You see now all the tweets, all the comments online now. It's like, whoa, Miami's Miami now. Miami isn't just a joke anymore. So it's going to be tough for local kids not to come here going forward.
Exactly.
You just look at the how all these recruits now, they always have the graphics with this is my top 5 or my top 4, my final 6, however they want to name it. Miami's always in those graphics now.
Miami's logo's in trend. 2 or 3 years ago, you would see Miami there. You're like, yeah, he's not coming here. Now it's like, oh shoot, yeah, we're right there. We're fighting. Yeah. And you see Georgia, Miami, LSU. It's always the same, but we're in the fight for anybody at this point.
Perception is everything, and I think that perception has absolutely changed. I really do think so. And it's funny enough because I had someone ask me this in the private board, my private board I have on Discord, about the recruitment of Mark Matthews, 5-star tackle, right in Miami's backyard. He's top 5 overall prospect in the country this year. And there are some national people who've shared recently. They think, there is a chance he could leave the state or whatnot. And I've shared that, I have doubts about that just because of how open he's been about how much he likes Miami. You see the genuine interest from him. You don't have to pry it out of that kid to say like, oh, what do you think about Miami? Like he'll let you know what he thinks about Miami. He's always been very positive. But the point I'm getting to is I think scenarios that you've seen in the past, like Derek Cooper, there's going to be those random scenarios like that where Miami's not going to overextend themselves on a prospect. Like if they feel like the compensation factor is too high relative to what the prospect is, like how they view the prospect, like especially a local guy, or even a situation like Calvin Russell last year, like him wanting to play basketball and whatnot. And, there was pushback from Miami's basketball side too. They weren't like extremely interested having him as a basketball player. They're open to it, but it wasn't like, we're for sure going to take him on. And I think those are going to be the random scenarios going forward that maybe you'll have a kid or two every couple of years that has a scenario like that. But for the most part going forward, I don't think you're going to see the Jeremiah Smiths of the world or like guys of that caliber, like Malachi Toney's going somewhere else because there's a proof of concept now. And I believe Coach Cristobal talked about this recently, that the proof of concept is there now for kids to want to be here, that Miami is a real thing again. They can compete. Why would you want to go somewhere else when you could stay here to do it?
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful thing because Mario has also taken advantage of it along the way for the non-believers, the doubters, the naysayers in the past of local guys that he's like, all right, you feel that way, but there's this kid across the country that lives out in New Jersey or in Chicago or out on the West Coast in California that he's as passionate as ever about the U more than you, and you're a local guy. So I love that aspect that Mario has taken that because Miami's always been that type of team. Like it's not just the local guys. I know the fans get fixated on it. They say 305 South Florida. Yeah, we all of us born and raised South Florida. However, there's more talent than just outside the area. And I love the fact that Mario has really broadened their horizons here at Miami, that it's more than just what's in the backyard. It's about handpicking the best around the country. And I'm positive about it. They're going to do it again this year. But just overall, like, I don't see what many people can complain about the program. Like the only thing I could see maybe fans complaining about right now, which they've brought up, is the cornerback coach situation, like how things are still up in the air, how they're still kind of interested in the Oregon cornerback coach, but also you have local coaches here saying like Terry Jefferson's the guy. Like no one really knows what's going to happen at this point with that. And I get it. Mario has a methodical approach to those things, and rightfully so. I think anyone questioning Mario right now, you need to question yourself, because look at the job that was done last year. Like we always talk about in college football, recency bias, right? What has Miami done recently? The run that they went on. So how are you going to question the way he's approaching that? That's how I look at it. Look, I'm not going to give blind faith. I'm not going to say, oh yeah, like agree with every single thing. But however, I think when people question things like that, you got to take a step back. You got to take a step back and kind of look at the whole picture and what has been done here. That Miami's come so far. And the reason why I say that, like the Jeremiah Smiths of the world or Malachi Tonys. Perfect example. There was a recent interview, just quick clip with Jeremiah Smith in Battle Sports because he's sponsored by Battle. And they asked him, they said, "Oh, who are your top three players from South Florida right now coming out of high school?" And he said, Amir Sears, Nicholas Lanier, and Neiman Lawrence. All three of those guys are 5-star prospects. Nick Lanier is already committed to Miami. I know people are worried could take a visit or whatnot. That's just the reality of recruiting these days. You have to deal with these kids taking visits. You always have to fight to the end. It's never over once you get the commitment. That's just how it is. But all three of those guys, big time Miami leans for some time now, or one already being committed. And I think that's the change in the narrative that you already see now, that before you used to wonder as a Miami fan, like, hey, like hopefully we could get at least one of those guys. Maybe if we're lucky too. The fact that you can land 3 5-stars like that in your own backyard, perception has absolutely changed. And I do believe, like, hey, even Jeremiah Smith said it himself. He probably would have come to Miami if things were different back then.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be one of those last of the Mohicans, the old saying that will be the last one that got away. Anything going forward is just outside circumstance, compensation, or wanting to play other sports.
No, and to your point about not just keeping it. Go ahead, Brett.
No, you go, Mando. Go.
No, just to, as far as to piggyback on Gio's point about not keeping it local. You saw earlier this week. It's early April. They go on a national show, McAfee show, right? You see the kid commit on national TV to Miami. The whole family there with the Miami gear on, and everybody's watching that. And I mean, not that you're going to sell Miami so much anyway, but yeah, him and McAfee are obviously cool, and that's great because McAfee's a national brand, and Miami's on par with anybody in the nation right now. There is no taking a backseat to anybody right now.
Yeah.
When I look at a player like Jeremiah Smith, okay, he got his national championship at Ohio State. Now, I know our offense wasn't that good that year. Okay, our defense wasn't. But, I'd say if he came to Miami, okay, he wins a national championship with us too. He may not have won it his first year, but he may have won it his first year because with him, our offense would have been so dynamic. I mean, you think about who our go-to receivers. Restrepo, excellent receiver. The Jacoby George. But Jeremiah Smith was obviously on another level of everybody. And then last year, we go to the national championship. Can you imagine if he's throwing to Jeremiah, if Beck is throwing the ball up to Smith? So, you could say he got his national championship, but hey, he's got to think sometimes. Now, I know they're different than regular people, superstar athletes. When their win, they're so focused. But hey, if I would have gone to Miami, could I have been the guy that brought that back? Could I have been the guy? The Boozer brothers. Can we have been the guy? Miami still got to the final 32. We got to the Elite Eight. But could Miami have got to the, so you don't know. These guys now have to think about, and not only football and basketball, say, hey, if I go to Miami, I can be part of something. Granted, he's a legend in Ohio State, a legend.
Yeah, I've seen the video of the mall and
where you're from. Yeah, the mall was crazy.
I've seen it's crazy. It's public appearances.
Yeah, I mean, we're great, these fans, but that's all they've got. What else do they have in Columbus, Ohio?
Yeah. They've shown him.
They're not going to the beach too often.
No, but they've showed him like at sporting goods stores or any like public signings, and it is like it's like a rock star. It's crazy.
Totally,
it's really nuts.
Totally, but it's like it is. It's not. What else? They're not going to the beach. They're not going to. What are they going to be doing in nothing against Columbus, of course, but this is South Florida. There's a billion things to do.
You're really emphasizing that beach part, aren't you?
Yeah, the beach. We have it. We have it. There's nothing we can do about geography.
Yeah, I hear you.
I just think Miami is set for some time going forward, and I'm not going to come out here and say like, oh yeah, Miami's going to go right back to the national championship. There's so much work.
It's not as easy. Like we're in chats and fans are like, oh, anything less than. I mean, it's not. I mean, look at last year, as awesome as it was. Yeah, we barely snuck in, and we had to beat A&M. It's not easy to be the final 2 teams. Like you got to pray you don't get no injuries to your star players, especially the quarterback and your offensive line. It's it's not as easy to make it sound like, hey, we're automatically in the final two. That's not.
No, we're
You know, I know
not. But if
people.
you were an
It's
Alabama
not
fan
that
for
easy.
years there, you felt you were. Now, granted, they had a
Yeah.
they had a
Now, if
obviously
we don't win the conference this year, I don't know when the hell we're gonna win it. Like, I'll say that, but we'll see what happens.
You know what's funny about that, Mando? I said that with Amon last night. That like, yes, I'm sure every fan will say that going to the national championship is more important than the ACC game. However, I do think that is the one last monkey that they have to get off their back as a program, that you need to win the ACC this year. You need to remove any shadow of a doubt, because guess what? You win the ACC, your ticket's automatically punched in. You're not worrying about a committee. You're not.
That is true.
Opinion or what they decide or feel they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
You get in. That point blank, you will get in if you win the ACC.
No, I definitely, absolutely want them to win that conference. That being said, I do think even compared to like 2 or 3 years ago, the conference title games have definitely not what they were before. I mean, it's taking a seat back, but still, yeah, you want to see them absolutely. Yeah, like to your point, you get there and win. There is no committee. You don't worry about shit. You're in. That's it. But
before we leave this conference, which is, one day could break up, obviously, or somebody we could leave. We don't want to say, hey, you were in the Big East forever and the ACC and you never won. We got 2 national championships, but you never won the ACC championship. Obviously, Canes fans, national championship is number 1, but it would be awfully nice to win it for sure.
No, all the changes, like when UCLA women's basketball, they just won the women's championship. Somebody texted me, "Oh wow, I can't believe another Big Ten title," and I responded, "What are you talking about?" It just didn't even register immediately to me that UCLA is in the Big Ten, because you're so used to the Pac-10, Pac-12 from all the years.
Course, exactly.
I'm still not used to them in the Big Ten, so it's all like.
I know when you said that, I took a double take.
No, I looked at my phone. I'm like, "What is he drunk? What the hell is he talking about?"
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, you got teams like California and Stanford in the ACC.
That's weird to me. That's so weird to me. Yeah.
You've got it's just crazy how everything is. When I was younger, it was the Pac-8. It was the Big 8, which was the Oklahoma. Those were them. It was the Big 10 was always, but the Big 8 was Oklahoma, Nebraska, and the Pac-8 was USC, UCLA, Washington. It was a whole different world, and nobody really cared about the SEC in those days.
No, Gio mentioned this.
It was big, but it wasn't fixed for them.
As far as the spring game next week, Gio, you mentioned. So, are you expecting more like a vanilla approach as far as what to display out there? What are you thinking? As you were talking about the spring game a little while ago.
Yeah. So the real spring game, as I've said for years, it always takes place. It's the scrimmage before the actual spring game, which would be this weekend. In terms of the spring game itself, how much can you take away from it? Certain pieces of it. I think you can get a good gauge for quarterback performance. Running backs is hit or miss because of how it's set up. I think you can get a good gauge of where your defensive backs are at, what certain aspects of the team, offensive line, trenches play. You could definitely see that, but it's essentially a watered down scrimmage. I don't know how much it'll be watered down though, because again, there's no TV coverage this time around. At least to this point, they have not announced it. They're not.
Oh, really? I thought some people had said it was going to be on. I was reading. No, I saw some people mentioning it. Okay.
Yeah, I heard something that it's not going to be televised. We'll see. I know.
Okay.
One of the years when they didn't televise it, what they did was for Golden Canes, they had a. I wouldn't say necessarily it was a lounge. It was a little area that you'd walk into inside the facility, and you'd be able to watch what was on the field, but on a screen inside of a room and everything. And Golden Canes were able to see that and whatnot. But from what I understand, I haven't heard anything about TV coverage to this point. I don't think it's going to be happening, because usually by now there is an announcement that it would be on ACC Network or ESPN, and that hasn't happened. So
yeah, maybe you're right. It is at 10:15 in the morning, so maybe it's not on TV.
Yeah, it's very early. They definitely changed the time because last year the spring game took place. I think it was 1 or 2 o'clock. This year you got to be out there super early.
Yeah, the gates open, I think, 8:30 a.m., I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
So on the discussion, though, just I mentioned about like just explosiveness with the offense and whatnot, and I think something that goes hand in hand with that is the running back room. And I spoke about this with Amon. He agreed with me, and I want to bring it up again to piggyback off that discussion from last night because there's a lot of good points that we brought up, just with everything with the ongoing of spring. Jordan Lyle has had a good spring to this point. He's been healthy. There's been no hiccups to this point. I've seen pushback from fans saying like, we'll see or whatever. I get it. Fine. You know, some fans, I get it. You know, they want to see it happen within the game, even though it has happened before in the past. But, you know, tough situation, the injury last year and whatnot, kind of became the forgotten man with that. I give him a ton of credit for coming back into a situation that maybe many kids probably would have looked for the door elsewhere to go to another program. He's had offers before. He decided to stay. To me, I think he's a guy that's going to be a breakout guy this year because it's expected to happen last year. He got hurt. It never really materialized, but I always go back to this one point. He did not win the starting job at running back going into Notre Dame last year just because they felt like it. It had a lot to do with his performance throughout the offseason last year. I think as long as he stays healthy, I think he's going to be the one guy that's not getting enough credit from the fans that people will open their eyes about this year and say, hey, you know, he's actually a pretty good player. I'm buying stock into Jordan Lyle. I love Miami's running back room. I just think that Jordan Lyle gets forgotten a lot because of the situation last year. Mark Fletcher, rightfully so, he gets all his flowers. The performance he had to end the season, tremendous what he did, and even setting a new playoff record. But I think Miami has real depth in the running back room. I think Shamar Brown's a legitimate player. So is Gerard Pringle. But I don't agree with the people who sleep on Jordan Lyle. I will die on that hill. I will die on that hill, and
I know you're a big proponent of his, Gio. You've been talking him up, and yeah, to your point, he had won the job, all intents and purposes, right?
Yeah.
Early on, and even maybe we talked about it the other day, last week, when Brett was out, that halfway through the season there was a lot of like discussion between fans and us and everybody, like who is the starter, who is the best running back. So I can't wait to see what he's got. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to come out and proclaim that I think he's going to be running back one or anything like that.
Right, sure.
Just to believe that he can be one of the breakout candidates. I have other ones in place as well, but I do think he could be one of those guys because he's gotten kind of forgotten about because of what happened last year. I know what he's capable of. I know what they think of him too. And they didn't really want to push him out the door either. It wasn't a situation like that. They wanted to retain him, and they did. Mm-hmm. I think he's going to be an interesting guy. I think an enigma of sorts, at least amongst the fan base, that either there's people that love him or there's people that they don't like him for whatever reason they have. But
well, that's what happens when guys get hurt in any sport and they're not seen. They get forgotten. It happens all the time. A guy's out for 6 weeks, 2 months. Yeah, right, Brett. I mean, it happens. Baseball, football. You just lose track. It happens.
I just believe I sit on the side of that. I think guys like, well, Mark Fletcher, he could definitely get downfield too. He showed that in the playoff. But yeah. I think guys like Jordan Lyle and Gerard Pringle, essentially those guys specifically, I think they give you a different dynamic.
Yeah, flashier.
And that change up, the change of pace, I think really throws teams off. And the reason why I say this especially is because you kind of saw that switch with Miami's offense late in the season last year after SMU, how they kind of got much more aggressive on offense. They were trying to put up points and everything and getting more explosive on offense and showing like different receivers out there, switching it up in rotation. I see that playing hand in hand with like the type of play style that Jordan Lyle and Gerard Pringle have that I find it hard to believe unless he gets hurt again or anything of that sort. I find it hard to believe that Jordan Lyle does not have a significant role on this team this year.
I mean, how significant can he have, Gio? They brought Mark Fletcher back. I mean, he could have gone to the NFL. He didn't. They made it. You know, I'm sure. He says he's the greatest teammate, but he definitely needs carries. I mean, Pringle came back after he said he's going. Pringle looked electrifying. Brown came back. I mean, they've got the wide receivers. I mean, what do you expect him to get? 10 carries, 15 carries, 20 carries? What do you think of that?
Well, he's not going to get 20.
There's only how many plays a game do we have?
I doubt he's going to get anything like 20. And I think a lot of that's going to have to do with the committee approach that they're going to take. I don't think necessarily you have to lean on one guy throughout the season. Maybe when you get into the playoffs, you kind of go with your hot hand at the time and whatnot, kind of like Mark Fletcher, like he really went on a tear to end the year. But there's no need to run anyone into the ground this season. Like, and I even talk about like in the essence of like Mark Fletcher, he's a damn good player. He's a top 5 running back returning to college football, but there's no need to run him into the ground with the other guys that you have with room. It's a long season, like we all saw. Like if you want to go that far, you're talking about 16, maybe sometimes could even be 17 games to get to that point.
Yep.
You're going to need all these guys. I hate when fans like they try to run off players and say, oh, we don't need them. I don't want them here anymore. Whatever.
Hey, man, if you can survive that season or even an NFL season with one running back, God bless you, because it's not going to happen.
Yeah,
you're going to get nicked. And not at that position, you're going to get nicked up. And I think Fletcher stayed on the field a lot in the playoffs, as you saw, because his blocking prowess as well. You saw against Ohio State when those studs are coming into the quarterback, he was able to put his 230, 240, whereas he put another running back, it's like, I think Ohio State's running back, like Bain and guys were going by him like he was like a turnstile. They couldn't even put a finger on him. So, yeah, you got to be able to block, too. You can't just,
In my opinion,
we have
when I speak about like how explosive I believe Miami's offense can be this year, between the marriage of Darian Mensah, the wide receivers you have, specifically guys that could play vertical as well, like your Joshua Moores, Vandrevius Jacobs, Malachi Tony can too. Even Cooper Barkett can do some as well. Cam Vaughn, like they have guys that actually can get downfield and make plays. Samarian Wingo as well. But between that marriage right there between Mensah and the wide receivers, and then the running backs that they have in the room, and specifically the styles of a Jordan Lyle and Gerard Pringle, all that mixed together. I'm not even talking about the tight ends because I think that's going to be an evolving thing. You know, they have 2 young pieces in Luka Gilbert and Gavin Mueller that can help behind Elijah Lofton this year. Me and Amon talked about it yesterday that a guy like Owen Ruskovich, he never really gets his flowers, but he's a guy that's super consistent in practice, number 44. But even just like behind Elijah Lofton, we'll see how that continues to develop. Lofton's been consistent. You know, people will say, hey, we heard that last year. I get it. I get it why fans are upset in that aspect. But I'd be hard-pressed to think that the tight ends room doesn't just naturally improve because of having guys returning and then adding some more talent to it on top of it. But long story short, Mensah, the relationship with the receivers coming in, the chemistry he already has with quite a few guys, the ability to throw downfield, which I've been on record saying I think he's a better downfield passer than even Cam Ward was. I think Cam Ward was a better improviser, but Mensah is very accurate downfield, along with your running back room and specific styles like Jordan Lyle and Gerard Pringle, mixing that all together. I don't see the offense. Yeah, they'll have some 2 tight end sets and whatnot this year naturally, but I don't see the offense being as condensed. I think they're going to open things up more similarly to what you saw when Cam Ward was here. And you saw what it opened up for guys like Damian Martinez back then and Mark Fletcher and even Jordan Lyle his first year and A.J. Allen that year too. I think it makes things easier when it comes to the essence of the committee of a running back room. When you have that passing game flowing like that and you're more of an up-tempo offense, I think it's going to play hand in hand. I really do believe Miami's offense is going to be very explosive this year.
So the goal should be to get up every half by 50 points, and then everybody can play.
I mean, in a dream world, yeah, but I think, I mean, I'm going to try to be fair here. The year that Cam Ward was here, they averaged, what was it? I believe it was like 43, 44 points a game.
I believe so.
I don't see any reason why they can't do that now, and especially that I think the receiver room is more talented now than the group that Cam Ward had.
Yeah, that team still left plenty of points on the table. They won some time. It seemed like, they won in some droughts, like the Syracuse game. People said, well, the great thing is we're not going to have a drought and everything, and then we just turned it off. So whatever happened. So that happened in those games.
Yeah.
Georgia Tech.
No, I definitely want to see how many points again we end up with, because obviously that offense was nasty, but a lot of that was also our defense was so bad. We had to chuck it like 40, 50 times a game because our defense were playing.
Good
we were like
point.
in shootouts every week. So that even if we end up with like, let's say 38 a game, of course you're going to have some people say, "Oh no, this offense has been disappointing." Well, yeah, you're not in a 45, 42 shootout every week. You don't need to. But that being said, there's no reason why this offense should not. Like, you hear Gio talking about it, and we're not even talking about tight ends. The running backs and receivers sound scary enough, but the quarterback and it's a pretty nasty lineup. It's pretty
The
sad.
tight ends proved that they could. I mean, it's been Lofton was good 2 years ago, but not Lofton, Arroyo. But it's like there were plenty of games that they didn't even throw to him. It's like each time they took, why don't they throw him more? We haven't really utilized the tight end in the last couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, we're like hearing Gio talk. If Moore is indeed what we think he's going to be, not even discussing the running backs and tight ends. I mean, Malachi, Barcade, and Moore with this quarterback. I mean,
Zach, and then we
yeah, that's pretty.
A great point. I'm excited to see Josh Moore. I'm excited to see everybody, but after just seeing what he did against USF, where he can go in and take the ball away from people. I mean, we haven't had a star 6'4" guy in a while. When was the last 6'4" guy we had that was dominating?
And honestly, I brought it up to Gio. We haven't heard about Barcade much. I think he's getting kind of lost in the shuffle because of the quarterback and Malachi and the running game. Let's see what Barcade can do, because his numbers are scary. I don't think people are giving him his due either.
The chemistry is very evident between him and Mensa. I just think Miami's receiver room is very deep right now. Amon confirmed it as well. Amon more than anyone would know compared to anyone
I would
else.
hope so.
He played the position himself, and he doubled down on what I've said about guys like Joshua Moore and what I've shared on like Vandrevius Jacobs and Samara and Wingo. Like, he knows. He played the position himself, and he played it at an extremely high level. So, yeah, I just think that room is as deep as it's ever been in quite some time. I think they're going to be able to give defenses very honest and different looks that are going to create problems this season. I think that it's just going to be an explosive offense. I know people will have questions about the O-line or whatever. Me and Amon discussed that and whatnot. And I think the O-line is going to be fine. I think it's more so they're going to try to figure out like who's going to be the other guard. And I think they have a good idea of it early on because of how well he's played this spring and Max Buchanan. But you want to continue to round out your depth. But I honestly don't really have much questions about the offense going into this year as I did pre-spring. I think some of these revelations, like a Josh Moore stepping up and some of these transfers that came in, like how good they've been early on. Miami does a really good job of making their evaluations. I absolutely believe so. I look back to even last year, most people thought Keelan Marion was going to be just a return guy, and he turned out to be a very solid receiver, a guy that could get downfield, he could play underneath. I was almost like a first down chain mover all the time. He was pretty consistent with that throughout the year. So I have full trust in what they're deciding to bring in and what they're deciding to retain, because that's a balancing act in itself. Like sometimes there's freshmen that are not happy with their playing time, whatever, and they let them walk out the door, but they're confident enough in their evaluations that they're like, the next guy is going to be better. We believe the next guy is going to be better than the one who just left. And I think that's the status where Miami is at now, that it's no longer of the worry of like, oh my God, this guy's going to leave or whatever, that you're continuing to build year over year over year over year.
Mm-hmm.
I love the offense they have going into the season. I'm all on board with it. I think explosive offense, absolutely. If they can't score in that range of 40 points per game, I'll be surprised. I honestly be surprised, because I think the receiver room is deeper than back then. And I think the running back room probably is deeper than the group that Damian Martinez was with, because two of those guys from that group, they're still here. They're older now. They're better now than they were back then. So I'm all in on the offense. I want to ask you guys some questions, some early breakout candidates, and maybe
Brett, he's gonna ask us questions.
Wow.
You hear this shit? All right, go ahead, Brett. Go ahead, Gio.
some early breakout candidates that I have for this year, and you can kind of tell me your thoughts on them or whatever. I'm just going to list them off, but I think Jordan Lyle will be a breakout guy this year. I think Joshua Moore will be. Morian Wingo is going to have some type of role. I don't know if people want to label it breakout, but I think he is going to have a nice freshman year. I think Jackson Cantwell will break out along with Max Buchanan. That's offensively for me. Defensively, I'll say Armando Blunt. I think he is primed for a big year. I think Justin Scott takes the next big step.
Yeah, you talked about him last show, yeah.
This next one I'm going to say is maybe a little controversial for some people, but this has to do with just how well he's playing early on. I think Chase Smith is going to be a breakout guy.
Love to see it.
And last one I'll say from the DB room, I think I mentioned this the other week, but Conrad Hussey's not getting enough love. I don't know if he'll start. I don't think he'll start, but I think he's going to be a very good, solid player for Miami this year. Conrad Hussey, that I don't think is getting enough attention. Like everyone talks about Omar Thornton and the cornerbacks and everything, but I think Conrad Hussey's that unsung hero right now that I think people are going to become more familiar with as we get closer to the season.
Mando was just breaking my phone up, just talking about Hussey, and he said, I hope Gio brings him up, because, Brett, I can't get enough of that guy. I mean, amazing. Actually, that Mando was on the right track. Mando, I'm going to say I agree with Gio 100%.
No, I want to say that I talked about it last show. I think Lightfoot is, to me, a guy that this could be his breakout season, and early, because he showed flashes mid to late last year, especially in the postseason. I think he's going to have more opportunities this season, a ton actually, and I think he's a guy defensively. And I was going to ask a few moments ago when Gio was talking about the offense, what the early returns are on the new tight ends coach. He was asked recently, why did you come here? And he mentioned that Miami is just going here. And obviously he's an Army guy, and what's the early returns on him? Because I want to see the tight, whether it's Lofton, whoever it is, if you can get that position as a pass-catching threat, along with 3-4 receivers and a running game, nobody's stopping us. I mean, because that position last year was obviously pass-catching was not what we expected, but he seems like a guy that's not going to take any BS from anybody, offense, defense, fans, media. So I'm curious to see how that position plays out. But defensively, I'll say Lightfoot. I think the tight end position on offense to me is a question mark as far as that. I have no concerns with the quarterback, receivers, running backs, stuff like that. But the tight end position is like a big quandary to me as far as what's going to happen there.
Who's the linebacker I think you talk about the freshman linebacker again that you were mentioning before that you always say is going to have a standout year. You didn't mention him.
Which one?
I forgot his name.
The one that just came in, or the one that was here since last year?
I thought it was a new guy. Who are they?
Oh, well, I do know that Corey Hatherman's been a very big fan of bringing in Justin Edwards. I just think in terms of the development there, I think it's more a physical thing rather than mental, just continuing to put on size there. But I think Justin Edwards is going to be a pretty good player for Miami at some point. I just don't know if it'll be this year. But the other guy I've talked about before, though, Kellen Wiley, just from a physical standpoint, absolute freak show. There's no one else in that linebacker room that looks like him. Even Kamal Bonner is a guy who's reshaped himself this year, too. He's going to factor in a lot. But I think with Kellen Wiley, I think it's one of those things, like, as he continues to get his feet wet more, all the physical attributes are there. It's just getting more and more comfortable with the system. And because he fits all the attributes that Corey Heatherman wants at linebacker. I don't know exactly what his role will be this year, but I do expect him to play more than he did last year. Last year was a lot of special teams. I think he'll be rotation this year.
I'm trying to hold my laughter, and it's rare that I bring up the first comment of the night, but I just clicked on the comments right quick, and Howard Stern goes, spring game sucks. It's like going to a strip club where the girls don't get naked. Jesus, how do you really feel, Howard?
That is funny. Yeah. Speaking of comments, we should get to those and questions.
I'm about to get to that right now. The last thing I was going to mention on what Mando asked, and then we're going to use like the next half hour here to catch up on the questions. Mando, on your question about the tight ends, at least from the feedback I've gotten, and I don't want fans to freak out about this because I've seen some fans say they're like, oh, but why is the tight end coach so focused on blocking drills and whatnot? This happens at so many programs where the tight ends will go and cross-train and get coaching from the receivers coach. Like, this happens at a lot of programs. It's not just exclusive to Miami. If you've been around football, you know this. Amon can confirm this. I've talked about this with other former players as well. It's a normal thing. Don't freak out when you hear that. But very intentional in terms of, like, what he does with them. A lot of emphasis on the blocking, obviously. I think it's just more of one of those things, like, can another guy emerge? Like, yes, Elijah Lofton, he's been steady and solid throughout spring, but can you get some more consistency from a Gavin Mueller or more consistency from a Luka Gilbert? Because they flash. They flash a lot, but can you get them consistent enough that you could rely upon them? Just from a snap to snap, down to down situation this upcoming season. We'll see. I mean, Luka Gilbert played a little more as the season progressed, but he was never truly entrenched as tight end too. I'm sure there's a lot of fans that say, I wish he was because of what happened in the national championship, but that was what it was at the time. So we'll see this season. And questions here. I'm going to jump to all these. Juan Manuel said, hey, y'all, Who Wants Smoke is back. Yes, me and Amon were on yesterday. We'll be back on again very, very soon. Deepwater 1301, great show last night with Amon, but MJ will always be the GOAT. I'm with you. I'm a Michael Jordan guy. Brett, are you guys Michael Jordan guys?
Of course. We know who Amon is. I know.
Way back when, I did root for North Carolina when he was there. I have to say there was something about him.
Yeah, no, me and Amon, we were having a mini debate for some time about, like, Michael Jordan, LeBron, and, you know, Amon's a LeBron guy, but I'm still a Michael Jordan guy.
Yeah.
Juan Manuel, Gio and Brett, Taco Tuesday. Hey, Gio, tell us what is up with Joshua Moore. Is he seeing other gifted receivers is he seeing other gifted receivers like Cam Von, Paris, and especially when we go to get serious? How has he improved? So we've spoken about him plenty tonight, spoke about him plenty yesterday, but yeah, he's responded to any and all the competition to this point.
And guys just take the next step. I mean, everybody, some guys don't take the next step to the NFL. I mean, they get better in their second, third year, but they just, like you said, it all of a sudden hits them. The game gets slower. It gets slower and they get faster.
Juan Manuel said, Gio and Brett, I'm pleasantly shocked, but I will argue Miami has more talent in the O-line group this year than last year's line than 25. Wilkerson, Ben Congdon, Cantwell, Max Buchanan have exceeded expectations. Yeah, I think maybe you could say in a sense that they're a little deeper when you talk about their depth. They have more guys that they can actually play. I don't want to jump out right to say, like, they're exactly better than the group from last year because the group from last year was really good.
Exactly. It's going to be tough to. I think Francis is not going to be easy to replace.
Yeah.
I mean,
Howard Stern, Gio, do you know if Ruben Bain and Francis Mount are going to go to the NFL draft in Pittsburgh? I'm not sure about that yet. NFL draft is the 26th. I believe I got to check the calendar.
Today that the first pick of the draft will not be there. I understand he wants to with his mom and family, but
Mendoza is going to be in Miami with his family. He said he's not going to Pittsburgh.
I mean, that's the NFL can't be happy about that.
Oh well, you know what? I don't blame him. Family first.
I agree. Family first.
Jacoby Greggs, go Canes. Thank you, Jacoby, for always stopping by, showing love and support. Howard, I have not been excited for Miami Hurricanes season like this since 2001. Hey. Jacoby Greggs, facts. I want to see Dawson use different formations, make teams have to game plan for a lot. We got the personnel.
I agree. I was so happy last year when we went with the two backs in the backfield. When we would go late in the season with Fletcher and Pritchard, I like that a lot. I wish they would go to that sometimes. So
Hassan said here, it was nice watching Gio last night with Amon. I'm glad he's back with it, but he's back with a great Brett today because Amon must have had some good stuff for delusions when he said LeBron is better than Michael Jordan.
Hassan, I am so in the Michael camp. I understand LeBron. He played for the Heat. I loved him for 4 years, but he has surrounded himself. He only goes places where he can get the best talent. And I know he's been better, but Michael had the killer instinct. And I did get every call, but there was something about him that was just different, Jordan. I think the fact six finals, 6 championships, 6 MVPs. I'll never forget in 2010, I think it was, when we played Dallas, and LeBron did not show up. The first year was with the Heat. Dwayne Wade would have got the MVP that year if LeBron would have showed up. So I always hold that against LeBron that, hey, it's like if you played just decently, D Wade would have got the MVP, but we ended up losing, so nobody on the Heat got the MVP.
So let's see here. Hassan shared. Gio, Steve Wiltfong, Cristobal, Myson Johnson Cook to Miami. Do you agree with that? I do agree with that. My name's not Steve Wiltfong, but I logged a pick in favor of Miami to land Myson Johnson Cook on Saturday, April 4th at 11:01 a.m. It's in the private board. So technically those Cristobal's came in afterwards. But yeah, I like where Miami's trending there. There was a little hiccup early on in spring, like early March when he first came to visit. I heard of a situation they were trying to clarify there and everything with some transfer stuff and whatnot. Everything was cleared up there. Mom really likes the campus from what I've been told. Son, Myson Johnson Cook, really likes what Miami does with their running backs, really likes the situation they have with the offensive line. Miami's main competition for the most part has been Missouri. I do think Miami will edge them out eventually. I don't know when a decision date is, but if he chose a school right now, I do expect it to be Miami. But yeah, I logged that pick on April 4th. It's in the private board in the Discord. You can check it out. It's 11:01 a.m. on Saturday. Jacoby Greggs. If we get Cook, I'll be super hyped, man. Yeah, I think many should. He's like 6'1", 6'2", 230 pounds. Runs legitimate 4.4 40. Extremely productive. He's I believe he's a top 40, top 50 prospect in the entire country. Arguably could end up a 5-star or is a 5-star depending on which website you look at, but extremely talented running back. I love what Miami's doing. Lido Kane, Gio and Amon last night killed it. Great show. Thank you, Lido. Thank you for the support. Thank you for stopping by. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. You can also find it in the QR code right there, your top right if you're watching. You can scan it if you're watching on your TV or you're watching on a computer or whatever with your phone. Or you can also find it on youtube.com/CanesWear. Please like, share, and subscribe. Deepwater. We need Cook and the 5-star linebacker. Can't remember his name off the top of my head, though. Talking about Caden Henderson from Tampa Jesuit. Yeah.
We definitely need him, I think.
Yeah. That's their top overall guy at the position. But They'll have to continue to battle there. It's not one's far from over. Not any anticipated decision this spring, most likely expected for summer. Hassan said, Gio kills it with anyone. He kills it with Dono and Comics with Canes and also the great Brett. Thank you, Hassan.
Thank you, Hassan.
Nice.
The fact that he can kill it with me and Mando means Gio is the MVP. He's carrying me and Mando. We're just hiding behind the questions.
I mean, that's awesome.
Deepwater 1301. We hear y'all too. Thank you, Deepwater. Jacoby Greggs, there we go. Let's see. Duck is here. Duck was in here earlier. Thank you, Duck.
There he is.
Or Duck for always stopping by. Mr.
Absolutely.
Run the Ball himself.
Run the football.
Run
Leather
the ball.
helmet. What is it?
Leather
Gio
helmet
say?
football.
There you go, Gio. There you go.
You know what? I need to create a meme that we use as a graphic every single time that we say leather helmet football. Just like a counter for how many times we say it in the show. Leather helmet football.
That's a great point. Yeah.
Oh,
A
man.
lot of good things to look forward to that we're working on for sure. We want this
Rich
to be
Millennial.
your podcast. That's for sure.
Rich Millennial shared here. Thank you, gentlemen, for the podcast. If I don't catch it live, I always catch it on the morning on the way to work.
Thank you, Rich. We appreciate that.
Rich, I got a response for you on that, actually. I want to put this podcast on the Apple and Spotify networks as well. I'm looking into doing the conversion of like video to audio to put within those platforms to be more accessible to everyone. I know not everyone's a YouTube guy or this or that, but just so everyone can have accessibility to it. And I know that's like people's go-to for when they're driving or on a commute or whatnot. They'll pop on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, and they'll listen on there. So that is in the works.
That's awesome.
Howard Stern, Brett, are you getting the A Danger T-shirts with the U in the center of her body for the 2026 season?
I have not seen that one, so somebody please send it to me.
Well, I tell you what, if I wear that for any episode, Monica's gonna whip my ass. So I'm not gonna wear that.
Mando is on a tight leash.
By the way, for everyone watching, I'll pop the code here again. $16 off any $50 purchase in honor of one Manuel Ventura, who's always
His own
here
code.
early.
Yeah.
JMT16 on CanesWear.com or on the CanesWear app on the Apple and Google stores. Download it. Exclusive discounts and offers on there. $16 off of any purchase, $50 or more tonight.
Beautiful.
Use it. Don't lose it.
It's good today and tomorrow.
He said, damn, Juan, you better buy some stuff, bro. Let's see. Howard Stern shared, Brett, seriously, we need the tank for Jeremiah Smith t-shirts immediately with him holding a dolphin like it was a football.
Again, I got to see that one. That'd be kind of cool.
So Juan Manuel said, thank you, Brett. Deepwater said, one of the best cane pods out there, fellas. Thank you, Deepwater.
Thank you.
Jose Gonzalez said, nice deal. Thanks. Thank you. Jacoby Rags, thanks, Brett. Waiting on the Malachi Tony jerseys.
Yes, I thought I would have them on Friday, but they're in production. Hopefully we should have them. I'm surprised we don't have them yet, so I'm going to check on them tomorrow. We have 101 coming, like the Dalmatians. Half black and half. There's some black ones and orange ones. So grab them quickly as soon as they come out.
Howard Stern shared, support Brett's, support CanesWear, F the Fanatics. Yeah, I guess.
I agree. Howard.
Howard Stern's not a fan of the Fanatics guy.
We don't blame him.
Money Counter. Hey, Gio, Brett, and Mando, how do you feel about the athleticism and speed in the linebacker room? I believe that's the best way to attack this defense. That's a good point.
I think that if we have a weakness, obviously that's been our weakness. Why haven't we gotten better linebackers?
Yeah, well, it kind of started with this past class. You know, they brought in 3 guys. One of them is going to be arriving in the fall, in Carson Bush. But I don't know necessarily if any of those guys can make like a massive impact this year outside of some rotation here or there or special teams. I think you're kind of waiting for guys like Kellen Wiley and Kamal Bonner and Cam Pruitt to kind of take that next step. Like some of those younger guys who are becoming veterans now. Chase Smith having a really good spring is definitely nice to hear, but I get what people are saying. Like, you expect a certain standard with the linebackers at Miami. I think Miami's linebacker in play overall improved as he got later into the season, especially the playoffs. Mohamed Toure started to really peak at the end of the year.
Saved us to go to the next round.
Yeah. Oh, there's always the running joke too. People say that like a light switched on for him right after that play, that he just was like the Rutgers version that most people expected. But
he was coming off a bad injury. Also, it takes these guys a while to get back.
He was out for like an entire year the year prior. But I hear fans. I get what they're saying. You want to see that standard return to the linebacker position. There's nothing I could specifically say right now that would qualm like people's concerns about that or their thoughts or whatnot. I got to see a little more and hear a little more feedback back from the linebacker room to kind of give you a general idea. Juan Manuel Ventura, hey, it's Miss Hudson and Big Bill up here in Chapel Hill. Big Bill thinks the NCAA should look into Mario's pool parties. They're doing Miami Vice type dealing down there. Mario's smuggling 4 and 5 stars. B-Rabbit said,
B-Rabbit.
Thank you for stopping by, B-Rabbit. Rich Millennial, what needs to happen for us to land the #1 recruiting class of 2027? How realistic would it be? I think it's very difficult to land a #1 overall recruiting class. I think you also need to take a big class to be able to do it. Some schools are taking up to like 30 guys in a class. I'm not expecting Miami to do that this year. But top 5, I think, is very doable. I've been saying that for months here. I think they're on track and pace for that with where they stand with several guys. Just #1, though, is that's very, very tough. Let's see. Poke Kane, what's good, fellas? Thank you for stopping by.
Okay, welcome to the show.
That's Poke Kane from the You Heard podcast. Thank you for stopping by, my man. Howard Stern, terrible hire by North Carolina, just terrible. He got ran out of Denver in a bad way, lost his team and players wanted him out.
I agree. I mean, to get rid of him right before the playoffs,
that was strange.
I bet on Denver last year when he got. I had him anyway, but I thought that they would come through. But I don't think it's a good hire at all. And I think that's a great hire for the University of Miami and Jay Lucas. I think that's a great hire for our recruiting edge.
Yeah. Howard Stern, Billy Donovan looks like he needs to go to a retirement home in Boca Raton. It's just not in him. No more Gators, never succeed in the league, not in football, not in basketball. F them. I like the realness, though. I appreciate
strong there, Howard.
Yes, he did.
Pope Kane said, baseball about to close it out against FAU. That was earlier, yeah.
Yeah.
Howard Stern, Gio, is it me or Ruben Bain and Francis Maunoa are falling down in some draft boards? They got them going from 8 to 14. I haven't seen that specifically. I saw one that I tend to respect this guy's opinion because he doesn't throw out a million mock drafts every year. You know, he kind of leaves it until like the very end. He gets a collective of information from GMs and from teams. That's Peter Schrager from ESPN. He put out his first mock draft today, actually, and I thought it was interesting. He had Francis Maunoa to the Giants at number 5. He had Ruben Bain to the Saints at number 8. And then he had Akeem Mesidor to the Cowboys at number 20. I think Bain's a little low. The fact that
I don't think Bain goes top 10.
Really?
That he doesn't go top 10?
I don't think he goes top 10.
Wow.
I think Francis goes top 5, but I don't know if Bain. I mean, I don't think it should matter, but there's too much talk that teams may. I mean, you realize it's like, why do teams kick the field goal at 4th down? Why do they not go for it? They don't want to do what the opposite of, like, if they pick Bain and he doesn't work out, everyone's going to say, you should have known what the rumor is about his arms. You should have known about his arms. and the coach can take a lot of heat. So for that reason, I think they pass up on guys that could play. It's like when Dan Marino came out, they passed up. He came all the way down to the Dolphins. When Randy Moss, he kept them pushed down. There are players that they're afraid to take because they don't want their careers to be associated. So I think Bain could drop. I hope he drops to the Miami Dolphins. And when he drops to the Miami Dolphins, I hope they pick him.
Here's my take on it. Any GM who takes Arvell Reese over Reuben Bain, it's going to cost them their job.
But definitely, I think, these guys sometimes are afraid to take the chance. You have to be.
I understand a team wanting to take David Bailey. I get it. Mm-hmm. Even though I think him and Reuben Bain are very comparative in the type of prospect. Either, you like more of the finesse guy or you like the power guy, but they're both just as good as one as the other. I just feel that any team that is willingly going to take Arvell Reese as a pass rusher over Reuben Bain, that GM's going to end up getting fired. Arvell Reese is an off-ball linebacker. He is not a pass rusher, and the tape shows it as well.
I think there's no doubt that Bain is going to be a star. All right, and but that doesn't mean that the guys that are drafting are going to take him. I like the Dolphins, and I hope they do take him.
I think it may be difficult for Bain to go top 5, but if he falls out of the top 10, to me, I find it egregious, just off of what's on the tape.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Every year, they say, how'd they fall? I hope not. I hope he goes as high as possible. But I can see him dropping. I think Francis definitely goes higher.
Yeah, Francis to the Giants. They got Harbaugh now. You want to build that offensive line with that second-year quarterback now. You got Cam Scatterbo coming back for a second year. You definitely want to build the O-line. So
I want him to go to the Titans.
Gio mentioned earlier about the tight ends and playing different positions. And they asked Noah recently, what if they tell you got to go to guard? He's like, I don't care. That's fine. I've been taught to play all 5 positions on the O-line. That's fine with me.
Player.
So as far as Bain, and that goes to the glorified, whatever you want to call them, the underwear Olympics, where people go crazy with that combine stuff and the measurement. And sometimes, am I a little partial because he's a UM guy? Sure. But objectively speaking, you could be the biggest Miami hater. I mean, you could tell the guy is just a damn good football player, regardless if his arms are 40 inches long or now. If he goes to the pros in a few months and he can't get past any left tackle, then people can point and say, you know what, told you so. But I don't think that's the case. He's a hell of a football player to me. Is he going to be an all-pro? I don't know. I mean, is he going to – I just don't – I know the Saints in Kansas City love him. Supposedly the Chiefs really like him at 8 or 9, or they're trying to trade up or whatnot. If he goes out of the top 10, I'd be shocked. But you never know with these drafts.
True.
You saw in Minnesota. Cost the GM his job. They didn't want to pay and keep Sam Darnold after one great season that he had there. He goes to Seattle, and they put their faith in McCarthy, the kid from Michigan. He's hurt every other game. Seattle wins the Super Bowl. GM got fired in Minnesota. So you make a catastrophic mistake. I'm not saying at the end as a quarterback, but you make a big mistake like that, it can cost you your job, like Gio just said. So they better, when you pass on Bain, you better know who the hell you're picking up.
I don't blame a team for wanting to take David Bailey. I think he's a legitimate prospect. I just think Arvell Reese, he's a linebacker. Anyone trying to peg him as a pass rusher, I think they're making a big mistake. But you know what?
Yeah.
If they want to make that mistake, go ahead. If a GM willingly takes Arvell Reese to be a pass rusher over Reuben Bain, I don't know what to tell you, man.
Well, the Jets have the second pick, right? The Jets, second pick?
Yeah.
Did it, right? So they did some offseason trades where they shuffled some defensive line. So they already made the decision to me because they already made their trades, and they already know who they're getting. Obviously, they haven't made it public yet, but they pretty much know who they're getting already.
Do you think Bain can come off of like Jalen Phillips did? I mean, they're not lined up as on the line of scrimmage. They can come off as a linebacker.
He can do some of that, but
I think he's athletic enough to do that. I mean, just to be, shifting from the left side to the right side.
Yeah.
Yes, they've moved him, and I think you saw in that interception he made against Notre Dame. The guy is just an amazing athlete.
Yeah, well, JT would have him play pretty far off in some of the pass rush sets this past year, actually. He showed some of that versatility. One Manuel, Gio, Brett, and Mando. Should the Canes make the Natty game in Las Vegas, will you three go together like the Hangover movie buddies? Will Mando, with his muscles, do a paragliding of the buildings?
I say we need to do
paragliding shit.
We're taking this. Mondo proved it in Texas. The three of us are going to go. We're going to do the Hangover movie live, and we're going to be filming every step of the way.
Oh my
For that, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. We're going to have some showgirls taking our video, of course, and being part of it. So that's the rule, guys. We're going. Juan Manuel has if he can think it, we can build it. We can come. We're going to Vegas. We're going to go ahead and do filming. We're going to have our own movie. I like it.
I'll take him up on that. If Miami,
yes. We're going, and it's going to be a great time. And who knows who we're going to run into? I'm not supplying the roofies though.
It's crazy because the Natty is this year, and then the opener next year is against Utah in Vegas.
Yeah,
we might as well just sleep over there and stay over for a few months.
By the way,
we'll have to get stuck in the casino and the sports book. But what the hell?
Oh God, what can go wrong?
Speaking about that 2027 opener with Utah, as long as it still stands, because you never know with all the schedule changes now in college football. Right. If it still stands. Michael Yost talked about it with me about doing a big event for Canes fans in Las Vegas that year to open up the season. Yeah.
Cool.
That'd be cool.
Let's see. Pope Kane, Malachi Tony, Cooper Barcade, and Joshua Moore. I agree. I think those are going to be your starting guys, in my opinion.
I love it, too. I love that. MCM. That'll be what we're talking about. MCM. Juan Manuel. Gio, can you go over just how deep Miami secondary is today and who are these guys? And can you compare them to 2024 secondary? I think the group is just overall better. I spoke about this with Amon yesterday, actually. I think a guy like – you look at the situation from the 2024 group with the DBs, and everyone knows like how that messed up Miami's season towards the end, kind of being the weak link of that team. O.J. Frederic, who, again, he's been really good throughout his time here. But I think if O.J. Frederic was like a true freshman going into like this season or just this past season with the way Miami's defensive backfield is built, it's a much more difficult task to earn a starting job at this point than it was with that 2024 group. And you saw it with how Miami attacked the portal before last season with all the guys they went after, all the cornerbacks they added, the guys they added to the safety room between Jacoby Thomas and Zachariah Poyser and bringing in Xavier Lucas and Ethan O'Connor. They knew they needed to address it. So obviously it's a much better group than it was back then. I think Miami has 4 guys that could legitimately start at several programs at cornerback, like OJ and Xavier Lucas and Damari Brown and Ethan O'Connor. I even think some of the younger guys could start at some programs themselves, like Jabari Antoine and a guy like Chris Ewald. I think those guys could start at other programs. Or you look at the safety room, Bryce Fitzgerald, Zachariah Poyser, who's having a really good spring, Omar Thornton, Conrad Hussey, who people forget Conrad Hussey was a freshman All-American at FSU before things kind of went haywire at Florida State. But I don't even think it's that much comparable. I do think the group from last year and even this year, it's night and day difference from 2024, in my opinion. Juan, do I know yet how good they're going to be? I want to see because, again, it's never easy replacing a guy like Keontae Scott. You got to replace Jacoby Thomas. It is nice that you bring Bryce Fitzgerald back and what he did last year, and he's much bigger and stronger now too. You hope that he could hold up even better against the run this year, something that he needed to work on a little. I think Miami secondary will be fine, though. I just think my one biggest concern is how do you replace the impact that Keontae Scott had? Because that was a guy that
could cover and was basically like a pseudo linebacker on the field. It's like you still had 3 linebackers on the field, even though you were playing a 4-2-5.
But you know what? We didn't know we had Keontae coming in. We had him, but he was not there for every game. So I think this type of team, somebody's going to step up. Not this. I think Keontae is going to be a great player in the NFL. Another guy I'd like the Dolphins to get. I hope this new regime for the Dolphins just loading up on Canes, just loading up like Seattle. Said Green Bay Packer guys say, you know what? We want to go with Canes. Just make this Miami's team all around. That being said, somebody's going to step up. I think the guys we have a safety, a corner, I think is going to be an unbelievable secondary.
Yeah, I agree. Let's see. Deepwater was mentioning about the offense, what I was talking about earlier. Trenton Breeze, thank you for stopping by, young Trenton. He said, "What's up, Florida?" Thank
Trenton.
Old Kane 2234. Gio, anything to worry about regarding Hayden Lowe? Nothing to worry about. He will be fine. I know people have been asking when he'll be fine. Nothing serious. Juan Manuel. Brett, how are you feeling? Did the dentist take care of you and knock you out with Novocaine plus give you candy for behaving? Bless you, Brett. Glad you're back.
Yes, yes, they gave me a lot. I'm a little out of it right now. But yes, they did. I didn't get any candy though, but I think I bit the dentist's finger. Thank you, Juan Manuel. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Canes Jones, thank you as always for stopping by. What's good, guys? Hey, Mando, too bad you don't live up north so you could hide in the basement from the Sandman, aka turn off the light wife. Go Canes.
No, not tonight. I got the new light thing here. I'm good.
He's got Mondo's taking over for twice a week. He's allowed to be the man of the house. I'm sorry, Mando.
What about the other 5 days, Dad? Hold on, honey. I'll be right there.
Like every other man.
Yes.
One man said Cook is a better running back prospect than Cooper at a much better price. I agree. It's bigger, just as fast. Howard Stern, disagree. The Heisman Trophy winner, championship winner, number 1 pick winner, South Florida next year's number 1 pick. South Florida, 80% of the last 10 national teams were won by South Florida. I think he was talking about when I was talking about the national thing. Miami, all the time when Miami's won national championships, it hasn't just been South Florida guys, though. You look back to the 2001 team, Ken Dorsey, California. Your tight end, Jeremy Shockey, he was from Oklahoma. The offensive line, Brian McKinney wasn't a South Florida guy. Brett Romberg was from Canada. Yeah. So I can continue going on. Ed Reed, Louisiana.
Yeah, Louisiana.
Mm-hmm. So I'm sure I could. DJ Williams was part of that team too. He was California as well. It's just the makeup of the national championship teams Miami has had. Yes, you have South Florida guys, some big difference makers in that aspect.
Wasn't Clinton Portis from? He was from Gainesville, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was from Gainesville. He wasn't a South Florida guy.
Correct.
So Andre Johnson, Miami guy. You had, oh my God, the other receiver, Darryl Jones. Darryl Jones was a Texas guy. Oh, he's actually
he was pretty good. He was
Darryl Jones. You don't hear his name a lot.
He was good.
Yeah, he's the team chaplain now for Miami.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see here. Juan Manuel said, whatever happened to prime Deion Sanders slogan? You didn't believe. Are you a believer? I come with receipts. Whatever happened to Colorado and prime swagger? What is the Last of the Mohicans, by the way? Last of the Mohicans. It's like a movie, actually. But yeah, that's what it's basically like the last of like a lineage. Like it's the last of a certain group. That's what I meant in terms of these South Florida kids just willingly leaving, aside from factors like, outside scenarios of compensation that they may want more or whatever, or they want to play other sports. And, sometimes it doesn't always fit into Miami's picture. But yeah. Howard Stern. And we have to take advantage of South Florida because in 45 years, it will not be what it used to be. Too many families are relocating. You're absolutely right on that. A lot of families from South Florida are moving up to Georgia and different states as well.
People can't. It's difficult to afford South Florida now. But
oh yeah, yeah.
Hassan shared here. Gio, Miami getting quarterback commit. Would it hurt us with Neiman Lawrence if he reclassifies? I don't expect Neiman Lawrence to still reclassify. As I shared for many, many months now, even bringing up the possibility that he could, it was never set in stone that he was going to reclassify for sure.
Why would any quarterback reclassify? He's going to reclassify early?
Yeah, he was considering moving down from 2028 to 27, but
you're not playing anyway in most cases.
Yeah. Howard Stern, and we have to okay, so you mentioned that. Miami wins back-to-back natty with Jeremiah Smith. They would outscore everyone. I agree.
One manual.
Gio Kane said, I promise you, I've said if Jeremiah Smith came here that we would have won at least the second year, made the playoffs the first year, won it the second year. I agree.
100%. And you know what? He didn't come here. He could have, these guys that don't come, obviously the Reuben Baines of the world came. Obviously other guys that came that said, I want to be part of this. And Malachi, they are. And they're making history with Miami.
Howard Stern said, that was brilliant by Miami to get the commitment of Israel Abrams on the Pat McAfee show. And then Mario coming on right afterwards. Brilliant move. Yep, that's marketing 101.
I want to know what happened to the other Howard Stern that didn't like Mario. That all time he knocked Mario. What is this, an imposter Howard Stern? What is going on here, Joe? Will the real Howard Stern please stand up? But that was great. That is the marketing genius to go on the show. And I think obviously McAfee would love to have every player come on his show because it brings notoriety and things to him and popularity.
Sure.
But if Miami could be the team doing it, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Give me an NIL deal.
Let's see. Juan Manuel said, what is there to do in Ohio besides eat and procreate? Oh, my God. Deep water. JJ will never admit it, but the love Mally's getting at the U and the community makes him jealous. Yeah, that could be a possibility.
I'll bet he's 100% correct.
Howard Stern, Miami's 3 losses the past year, they were caused by South Florida players. Sharp from Indiana, the kid that used to go to Columbus, that's in Louisville, TJ Capers, and SMU, which is South Florida 2.0. Yeah, everyone talking about SMU.
Exactly. We're definitely not going to get. We're definitely not going to get every kid from South Florida or anything. We just want. We just want the guys that want to be here at Miami, the best guys that want to be here. We want to coach them up and win.
Deepwater said, we got to win the ACC just based on principle. How the fuck are we going to win that? Yeah, I agree. Usually I don't curse, but I slipped up on that one.
He got you there. He got you there. Well done there.
Sorry, Mom. One man. Well, did you guys see South Carolina women basketball coach go off on that men's coach? Yes. She was going to beat that old man up and take away his AARP and Viagra prescription.
Yeah, that was pretty wild after the game.
That was wild, but I was shocked to see UCLA destroy them. I mean, they just destroyed South Carolina, who wanted to be a dynasty.
So Howard Stern said, correct, Brett, we got to win the ACC. It's incredible that we have never won this conference. I agree.
Absolutely.
Deepwater said it's not on TV. Yep, you're correct, Deepwater. That's what I've heard.
Are we talking about the scrimmage in 2 weeks or the scrimmage this week coming up?
The spring game,
I think he's talking about Deepwater's talking about the spring game.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're going to be at the real scrimmage?
That what?
You're going to be at the real scrimmage? The one?
No, they don't let the media in. I'll have to find out after.
Oh, really? They don't let media into that at all? Oh, okay.
No. Howard Stern, is Jackson Cantwell looking better than you thought at this stage in spring practice now that the pads are on? Absolutely. I thought maybe there would have been like a slight adjustment, like speed of the game and whatnot. I never had a question about physical tools, but I think he's ahead of where most people would have expected him to be at this point.
Interesting.
Howard Stern says spring game sucks. It's like going to strip club where they
there it is.
I said that to my son. He said, anyway, I don't want to say it. He said, we're not looking for girls when we're going out there. I says, if you're going out to Las Olas and hanging out and not looking, anyway, that's on the podcast After Dark.
Deepwater shared Lyle's due for the breakout. I agree. He also said Fletcher won't get heavy carries until the playoff run. I agree as well. There's no need to run him down into the ground during the season. Longevity could be a long season. Howard Stern said Jordan Lyle got first round All-American potential, but potential means nothing. Just do it on the field, man. But he could do it. I don't know if I want to jump out to say first round or All-American. Like that's like very steep stuff to say. You know, it have to materialize. But I do think he's not getting enough credit, at least from fans or just people trying to write him off so soon. One man Will said, I don't think people don't like Jordan Love. They were disappointed with the promise he showed as a freshman. My question is he lighter? Fletcher should be used sparingly with 1/4 games. He said Fletcher should get the honor of starting first series, but Miami doesn't need to play Fletcher, FAMU, Central Michigan blowouts. Fletcher's carries should be monitored with the goal of postseason. I agree. Kevin Dennis said, did we discuss guys who shine in scrimmage? Yes, we did. Howard Stern, this team is loaded, and last year the defense knew that they needed to hold teams to 14 to 21 points. Now they don't. Honestly, I think this offense will put up a minimum of 35 points a game.
I think that's going to be a year quiz we're going to put on this show. Now, we're going to talk about exactly to the point, decimal point, how many points the Canes are going to average throughout the season. That's going to be an ongoing thing we're going to have. I don't know if we're going to keep it up there. We're going to have everybody guess that. And when the winner is going to get a $100 gift card, whoever gets it for the end of the season, everybody's going to get a guess. So there's some of the things we're going to be seeing on the CanesWear podcast that you'll see nowhere else. Yes, we're going to bribe you.
Incentives.
Thank you.
Howard Stern.
Subscribe, please. We're giving money.
Oh,
Howard Stern said, in South Bend, we will celebrate in October.
Absolutely.
Well, it's in November. They're playing November, I believe.
Yeah, no, he's right. No, I think it's November 7th. Yeah,
we're celebrating early.
we're getting ourselves bent for Halloween. Is that what it is?
James Kane, 4001. Thank you for stopping by. He said Samari and Wingo on offense. Yep. Howard Stern said Jones, the transfer from South Carolina, is going to break out. Jones from South Carolina.
Brett, if Gio don't know, then we were.
I don't know, Gio.
Oh, no, I think he's talking about Vandrevius Jacobs. Yeah.
Jacobs from West Virginia. Yeah. Gio's a fraud, Brett. I think this Gio guy's a fraud, Brett. I don't know. He doesn't know his stuff.
I thought Mando was going to jump in, but he didn't want to steal the thunder.
I don't want to.
Let's see. Ezekiel Marcelin. Yes, he is a guy who stepped up this spring. He's improved from last year. Often works with running backs. Yeah, he gets work with running backs as well, also with the tight ends too. Howard Stern. Fabian Upshaw, I saw an interview of him a couple of days ago, speaks well, is young, and I believe does well, relates, and good with his players. How's he looking in spring practice? Haven't taken much note of it yet or like focused too much on it, but I think running back's one of those positions where I think you want a young guy, a motivator, more than like specifically a teacher. Running back's a position, it's more just instinct. Like either you have it or you don't. Like it's always been like that. And even former players have said this too. But you got to have a great motivator there, though. James Kane, LeBron is soft and Michael Jordan play with bums most of his career. One more. Let's see. Howard Stern. By the time Malachi Tony leaves Miami, he will be on the Mount Rushmore players. What he's going to do for this program is what Howard Schnellenberger did, turning it around. Yeah, I do think as long as he continues off of what he did this past year, he can definitely be a Mount Rushmore Hurricane player. Absolutely.
It's been a while since we've had a guy start as a freshman and then start as a sophomore as well. There is that sophomore slump. Sophomore jinx, sophomore slump, whatever. We talked about Lyle right now. He didn't follow up. Even Frank Gore, 10 yards a carry. Then he didn't play well. He got hurt. I mean, he obviously – so a lot of guys come out. Look at poor Amon. I mean, he had an amazing freshman there. Then it didn't happen for him. Injuries or performance. So very difficult to follow up. I think Malachi has what it takes to do it. And, you want to see – everybody wants to anoint these guys the greatest ever, the greatest ever. Let's let them play, multiple seasons and then count it. But if he continues, obviously, on the path that he's on, he's definitely going to be on the Mount Rushmore.
Let's see. Possum Jenkins, thank you for stopping by. He said, did you see Gabby's mock class? What are your thoughts? I have not seen it. Actually, I rarely see stuff from anyone else's other site. I'm kind of like just focused on stuff that I'm doing. I haven't had the time to look at anyone else's stuff. But if you want to share it to me or DM to me or whatever, I'll see it afterwards. But I haven't seen it. Let's see. Possum Jenkins said, tell us your 2 deep. I'll run a quick 2 deep, not in depth or like explaining everything, but I'm going to go Darian Mensah, Luke Nickel, running back, Mark Fletcher, obviously your starter, and then some mixture between Jordan Lyle, Shamar Brown, and Gerard Pringle. Receiver, I'll go Malachi Toney, Cooper Barkay, Joshua Moore, and then behind them, guys like Vendrevious Jacobs, Cam Vaughn, Samarin Wingo, and Dalen Upshaw, like that. And tight end, I'll go Elijah Lofton, and I'm not sure yet on the backup or like the second guy, but someone between Gavin Mueller and Luka Gilbert. Offensive line, left tackle, I'll go Jackson Cantwell. Right behind him, Jaden Wilkerson. Left guard, I'll go Samson Okunlola, SJ Alafaitule. Center, same thing. I'll go with Brian Rodriguez, SJ. Right guard, I'll go Max Buchanan and the transfer Jamal Merriweather. Right tackle, I'll go Matthew McCoy and oh my goodness, what's the guy behind them again? Matthew McCoy and Ben Congdon. I'll do that for the offensive line. Defensive end, I'll say that one's tough. I think defensive end doesn't really matter who starts, so I think technically you could have like 4 co-starters there between guys like Armando Blunt, Damon Wilson, Marquise Lightfoot, even a guy like Hayden Lowe. And right after those guys, Herbert Scroggins is going to be a guy that's definitely going to factor in this year too. I'm sure I'm probably forgetting a name or two here. I'm just going right off the top of my head. D-tackle, Mod Moten, Justin Scott. Right behind them, Jarquez Carter, Keona Davis. I think Logan Nagel is a guy who could surprise this year as well, maybe find himself some snaps possibly in some rotation. Linebacker, I'm going to go, at least right now, I'm sure it could change over time, but I'm going to go Muhammad Toure, Chase Smith, and some guys behind them, guys like Cam Pruitt, Kellen Wiley, Ezekiel Marcelin, Mal Bonner, guys like that. Cornerback, your top 4 guys that are all co-starters, Brown, Lucas, OJ, O'Connor. I think Jabari Antoine and Chris Ewald could factor into some depth there. Safety, I'll go Bryce Fitzgerald and Zachariah Poyser. Behind them, guys like Conrad Hussey, Omar Thornton. I think Omar Thornton you're going to see especially at nickel as well. Before I forget, J.J. Dunnigan, absolutely going to play. He could play several positions. So, yeah, I don't know if J.J. Dunnigan will start out the gate, but he's definitely going to play a lot. So that's just a quick 2 deep. I hope I did well enough.
It's like the movie Coming to America. That boy good.
That boy good. Hassan, Gio, what's the deal with that hater, Brendan Fishoko?
Oh, yeah, that guy online, yes.
Saying NFL GMs will get fired if they draft Bain. That idiot needs to stay off the weed. I know Braden Fajoko. I've talked to them a bit here and there. I've liked some of his content before. Look, Miami side of me, I'm probably not going to agree with what he's saying about Ruben Bain thing, but I think that's the beauty of all this, that everyone's entitled to their own opinion. That's what he believes in. Fine. I don't agree, but Raymundo Rodriguez, thank you for stopping by, Raymundo. What's happening, fellas? I'm here to get my update on fitted hats from Brett.
Excellent question, Raymond. If you're talking about new era, there's definitely a conflict going on right now with them and who's getting them. Unfortunately, we have not got those like I wanted to. We do have a ton of hats coming in for the season, but right now I don't see any new era hats I do speak to them all the time about things for the other teams, but New Era hats and us has not happened. So to be continued. We're working on things. We do have a lot of hats coming in, but none right now. No Hurricane hats right now from New Era, unfortunately. It's supposed to happen with Adidas and New Era. There was supposed to be a deal that New Era was going to make all the hats for Adidas, but that fell through at the last minute going into this year.
Let's see here. James Kane said, Miami has not landed in the #1 class. Huge number of players, huge amounts of overpaying. I agree. I don't think Miami's going to take a big enough or large enough class, however, which word you want to use, but a large enough class to be to get #1. But I do think top 5 is very doable. I do think it's very doable. Possum Jenkins, I love everything I hear about the offense, but the most important thing is we have to remain a physical team. If not, I fear in the playoffs we might become soft like Oregon and Texas. I agree.
I agree.
You still have to maintain that identity. Ro said, thank you for stopping by, Ro from X. Saints need Bane. True. James King, Bane is better than any defensive end in the draft.
Definitely.
Yeah. I think you could throw a debate between him and Bailey from Texas Tech, but I think it's apples to oranges. Either you like the power guy or you like the more finesse rusher, but both can get it done. Juan Manuel, I don't understand what people see in Ohio State's offensive linebacker, outside linebacker, Arvell Reese. He is a tweener. He is less physical than Lightfoot as a defensive end, but coverage, I think he's overrated. His teammate, his Styles is better. Yeah, Sonny Styles is legit. I know Mando can back this up, that this is my thoughts on this, because I had a debate with some people in a group chat a couple of weeks ago about Ohio State's linebackers with the draft and everything. And I said that I felt like Sonny Styles was the real star there, and that Arvell Reese, he's kind of a physical freak, but I think there's been plenty of physical freaks we've all seen in football that have never truly materialized at the next level. Yeah, I'm with you, Juan. I think he's a bit overrated. Like I've said, I've been on record. I've said that if a team willingly drafts Arvell Reese over Ruben Bain as a pass rusher, I got questions about how long people in that front office will stick around. Mr. Hey, thank you for stopping by, man.
Mr. Hey.
Bobby Perkins, thank you for stopping by. He said, how much weight did Fitzgerald gain? I know he was around the 190 range last year. From what I understand, he's up to 200 now. He's definitely, you'll notice it, especially when the season comes around, he's bigger than he was last year. Still moves the same too, though. Mr. Hey said, Brett, are you going to the spring game? I'm going with Benny, Brian, and Q. Well,
if you're inviting me to go with you guys, I'm more than happy to join. With Benny, Brian, and Q. Mr. Hey, dropping the names. Yes. BB and Q. BG will be there with BB and Q.
Let's see. Hassan shared. Gio, don't you think Conrad Hussey can be like Jacoby Thomas? Can he be an intimidator? Ooh, I don't know if I want to say exactly like Jacoby Thomas. Their frames are a little different. I think, if anything, if you looked at someone's frame that's identical to how Jacoby Thomas looked, JJ Dunnigan, but I think JJ Dunnigan is just much more athletic than what Jacoby Thomas was. I think he's a better cover guy too. But Conrad Hussey in particular, I don't know if I'd say he's as physical as Jacoby Thomas. He could hit, but I don't know if as physical as Jacoby Thomas. But I do think he's a better cover guy, though, if you understand where I'm coming from. Brooksville Kane, you guys rock. Gio, you are the infill man. Go Canes. Thank you, Brooksville.
And Brooksville, from the home of Jerome Brown. I'll never forget watching
there you go
way back when and seeing either Keith Jackson or someone at the games. Oh, Jerome Brown from Brooksville, Florida. May rest in peace. One of the greatest Miami Hurricanes of all time. Possibly one of the most, for great being underrated as well. Definitely. People don't talk about him as much as they should.
Devon Mayfield McKinney was from New Jersey. You're absolutely right. Came from a JUCO. Mr. Hey, does Brett have any cinnamon babka or muffin tops?
As a matter of fact, I have a chocolate eclair that's in the garbage over here if you need one.
I agree with this approach that Martin Dubé shared here. He said being in the ACC is an advantage for Miami making the playoffs with less wear and tear. I agree.
Great point.
Possum Jenkin, has anyone found Tony Johnson yet? Nope.
Where is he?
His receiver on last year's team and transfer
No,
guy.
I know. Where is he? Where'd he go?
No comment.
He played well against Notre Dame, didn't he?
Yeah. Devon Mayfield. SMU is going to upset Notre Dame. Watch. Wow. That's a bold one. Juan Manuel. I think Miami may have a dominant left side of the line with 2 5-star Sampson and Cantwell in the run game. Cantwell could be a run game weapon, much like Francis, except the left side. Yeah, I think people are going to be really happy with what they're getting in Jackson Cantwell. He's ahead of like what I was expecting at this point right now. Like, I felt like he would start, yes, but just kind of like where he's at with his development, definitely more advanced. And I'm going to give some credit to that, to the fact that Miami was able to get him in for the playoff practices. He was able to go up against guys like Ruben Bain and Akeem Mesidor. I think that goes a long way. Mm-hmm. Howard Stern. I agree. Only one thing can ruin this program. Mario getting involved with a Venezuelan and Colombian girl running his.
Oh, my Lord.
That won't happen. I'll tell you why right now. Mario loves his wife very much. That's very evident. But the other thing, too, Mario is so absorbed in his work, and he is so hell-bent on keeping Miami, not only just getting Miami there, but keeping Miami at the very pinnacle of college football. That'll never happen. Lito Canes, he said, I can see the linebacker room breaking out this season, considering it's the second year under Heatherman. Yeah, just more familiarity with the system.
I think that's a great point.
He's got more of the body types in there that he wants. Like he really looks for guys that are like 6'2", 6'3", 6'4", 225 plus pounds, guys that can run, that have range, can cover, can clog up lanes in like drop back zone. So yeah, I think he has more of those guys. I'm just a little cautious on like exactly what the definition is of breaking out, though. Like I know for Miami Hurricane fans, when you think of linebacker play, you think of Denzel Perriman, Ray Lewis, John Beeson, Sean Spence, like guys like that from the past, Dan Morgan. I think that's why I'll say I'm cautious on like the word of breaking out. Kevin Dennis, is KC Concepcion a Malachi Tony comparison? I remember we wanted him in the portal from NC State. I think Malachi Tony's better than Concepcion. I have seen, though, that Concepcion could go in the late first round, though. Is a really good talent.
Wow.
Juan Manuel, Miami's going to have multiple ways to beat you on offense. They will be able to run the ball. You're not going to bracket Malachi Tony. Notre Dame plans on putting Leonard Moore on Tony. It's a big mistake. I agree. Howard Stern, only one thing can ruin this. Okay, hold on. We saw that already. Howard Stern, Florida State is basically the Bronny James of college football.
That is the best comment. That is hysterical. I hit that thing.
Damn.
Did I knock that?
Juan Manuel said Leonard Moore and Malachi Tony. All right, so we already saw that. Let's see. One angry black man. That is a crazy YouTube name. But he said, I've been hearing JJ is killing it. Yes, JJ Dunnigan has been phenomenal early on. He's definitely going to play this year. Biggest impact on defense, in my opinion, of true freshmen. Howard Stern, I hate John Samaral with a passion. Yeah, he's been saying this for a few weeks now.
I know that.
Yeah.
Juan Manuel said there's a defensive tackle, true freshman, 42, Logan, who was put on 25 pounds and is pressed. What about him? Yeah, I spoke about Logan Nagel. I mentioned that I think he could get some snaps this year. Kevin Dennis said, did we try to get Bailey from Texas Tech in the portal? If so, what happened? Yeah, when he was leaving Stanford, I think there was some interest at the time, but they just never really went down that road, though. King Kel, thank you for stopping by. It's Kellen Wiley's father. What's going on, gentlemen? Thank you for stopping by as always.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
Let's see, Mr. Hey, yes.
I'm invited. I made it to the big time.
Oh, Juan Manuel's got a great memory, actually. We're here on the last 3 or 4 questions. Juan Manuel said, Jets pick I think he is Golston from 2007 from Ohio State. We'll do it again.
I remember that.
Yeah, I remember that was. I think it was Marquez Golston or something Golston, Everett Golston or something like that.
Vernon.
Vernon Golston. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. He was like a total freak show, but like just
not pros disaster.
yeah. Howard Stern said here, Brett, who are your top 5 Miami Hurricane players you have seen live?
I have seen live, and I'm going to go with guys that are not people you would think, but my favorite Hurricane players who I've seen live are O.J. Anderson was first. I thought he was spectacular. Benny Blades, I think, was spectacular. Saw him live. Obviously, I've seen every Hurricane player live, but I can't say everyone. But I said O.J. Anderson. I said Benny Blades. Dan Morgan, I thought was spectacular. I thought Bernie Kosar being at the national championship game and watching him and take the 2 touchdown lead, then the 2 touchdown. I thought Bernie Kosar was phenomenal. I saw Jim Kelly, but I thought Bernie Kosar basically brought us that championship. And then the next year I was at the game, I think it was in Orlando when we played them, and he brought them down the field at the last second against the Gators to beat them. And I remember Bernie being asked after he said, what happened if they would have scored and Kenny Calhoun doesn't knock that ball away and they would have scored Nebraska a 2-point conversion? Bernie said, as clear as day, we just drove down and beat them. He was 100% confident that he would have. So I got 4 players right now. The 5th player I'm going to go with is a guy that people don't talk about. I'll go with, obviously, if you want the best player. But I'm going to go with downtown Eddie Brown. Phenomenal player people don't talk about. Great NFL career with Cincinnati. So those are the 5 guys that a lot of people would not mention. Those 5 guys. There's obviously 100 Hurricanes that could probably be
absolutely.
In that. But those are my 5. Thanks for asking, Howard Stern.
Let's see here. Mr. Hey said, tell Howard Stern serenity now. Assange said, I don't think Michael Irvin will allow any beautiful woman around Mario. Irvin seems like a crazy girlfriend. Well, Mario Cristobal was born to be Miami Hurricane coach. Look at his career and turns. He was in Golden Staff for 2 weeks before Nick Saban rescued him from Miami. Yep.
Yes, for sure. He was, yes.
Yeah, and several Miami fans were upset with him at the time. But, hey, looking back now, are you upset with the result?
Yep.
One angry black man said, are they still doing Canes Fest around the spring game? Yeah, I know they're doing some of that. Mm-hmm. It's going to be that starts up like the 2 hours before the actual game. So make sure to get there super early if you want to be involved with that. I know they do most of that stuff inside of the indoor facility, but I'm not sure how the setup will be this year because there's still a lot of construction going on. Juan Manuel, what happens if Miami has 2 Heisman candidates, Mensa and Tony in New York? Just saying, that's good for business. I think several fans would be
great
happy.
For business, but yeah, that would be phenomenal.
One angry black man said, Dan Morgan was a monster, in my opinion. Based on college career only, he's the best linebacker in Miami's history, in my opinion. I agree. Purely, you want to talk about just career at Miami, Dan Morgan takes the cake for linebackers.
He was. I agree with One Angry. Thanks for joining, One Angry. Great to see you on the show.
By the way, he still holds till this day. It's so sad that his NFL career was cut so short. He still holds the Super Bowl record for most tackles in a Super Bowl game. I think he had like 18 or 19 tackles against the Patriots.
I thought Dan Morgan was like a Zach Thomas, but bigger and faster. We know how good Zach Thomas was in the NFL. If he stays healthy, I mean, there's no doubt he's one of the great linebackers of all. He was just phenomenal. He was just such an amazing athlete. He could play running. I mean, just what a great guy. Great family, great dad, great family, great parents.
It is odd, though, when they talk about the greatest Canes ever. For some reason, he doesn't get mentioned all the time. It's kind of strange.
Yeah.
He wasn't even on the what do they call it? The wall, the honor roll. He wasn't even on that until this year. I think he got on this year.
Whoever saw him play here, man, he was like
the most decorated Miami Hurricane of all time.
Yeah.
Proud cat, dad of 8. Rusty Medeiros, if he wouldn't have gotten hurt, he would have ended up being the best all time.
He was another good player. He was good.
Great point, Proud Cat. He was a beast.
Juan Manuel, he also has one of the best Hall of Fame induction speeches for the University of Miami. Highly recommend watching his induction.
Really? I got to see that one.
Yeah. Juan Manuel said, I used to sneak up to Green Tree practices in 2003 and 2004. The hits that Brandon Merriweather and linebacker number 2, John Beeson, put on teammates should be illegal. Yeah, Brandon Merriweather was...
He was, another underrated guy.
Let me tell you this. They basically like forced Brandon Merriweather out of the NFL because of all the changes with contact and tackling and everything. He was like a throwback guy. Mr. Hey, Jim Kelly, Benny Blades, Danny Stubbs, and Rusty Medeiros. Yeah, Danny Stubbs is a good choice too.
Danny Stubbs, great guy. Been to the store, signing, played for San Francisco. Probably until this year, probably our best defensive end ever.
John Beeson. Jose Gonzalez said here, Ray Lewis running down Warwick Dunn from behind will always be etched in my memory. He was a fast, bad dude. Yeah.
He was.
Ray Lewis, he got much bigger when he got to the NFL. Like when he was at Miami, from what I understand,
correct.
he was like 215, 220 in college.
Yeah, he was light. Yeah.
A lot of people talk about, Ray Lewis or Dan Morgan. A lot of people give it to Ray Lewis. But in college, Dan Morgan was definitely – I mean, Ray Lewis is a superstar also, but Dan Morgan, I think, had no equal.
Yeah, no, just purely like what Dan Morgan did in college. I agree. He was the best, like purely in a Miami Hurricane uniform. Linebacker, absolutely. Let's see.
I mentioned Sean Taylor. Sean Taylor's son, brother is also, he's playing in the Washington, I don't know if it's the UFL, the Washington Defenders, I think it is.
Juan Manuel said,
I think, right?
Yeah. Juan Manuel said, do you guys know Sean Taylor has a phenom daughter playing volleyball at, I think, North Carolina? Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Mr. Hey, last comment of the night. Most decorated Miami player of all time is Gino.
He put Gino, probably you're right, because Gino has the Heisman Trophy, and he has a national championship. If you go by that, but I think in awards, total awards, I think it was, but probably close, Mr. Hey. We'll call him offense and defense. Gino on offense, Dan on defense.
And he said here, Gabriel Taylor had a game-saving pick a few games back. Morgan was a better athlete. Yeah. And last one, Juan Manuel said here, great show. Hit like, share, and subscribe. Yes, hit like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And he asked, Friday show? No, not a Friday show. We'll be back on Thursday evening.
Back on Thursday. So I know we have a lot of people based on what I can see watching the show. So everyone that brings a question next time, let us know somewhere in there when you started becoming a Miami Hurricane fan. That way we can put names to how long you've been a Canes fan. I've been a Canes fan, obviously, since the 70s, before they won national championships. So anyone, just let us know in your comments, 1975, 1983, 1981, 2001, whatever. Just curious so we can put names to how long you've been a Canes fan. We're going to do that like every week we'll do something. Who's your favorite player, blah, blah, blah. But so for next show on Thursday, CanesWear TV podcast, let us know what year you've been a Hurricane. Just put the 4 digits in there. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, and don't say since the Cotton Bowl win against Ohio State, you're banned from the show.
We will be pulling fan cards if you do.
It's like Dan Patrick used to do. I'm taking that from Dan Patrick. He used to say, height and weight or so. So we're going to go. So we're just going to go on this one. We're going to go with just year you've been a Hurricane fan since from. So just say it. So Mando, when did you start becoming a Miami Hurricane fan? Do you think? What was the first year?
I was 7. That would be 1984. My God, yes, 1984. I swear to God, 7 years old. Yes.
85. How about you, Gio?
Whew. Okay. Early 2000s. So I know people say, damn, it must have been easy to become a fan around that time. But my brother,
Mando had a better ride.
Yeah, my brothers, especially my middle brother, is a big Miami fan as well. So kind of went down from that, and especially elementary into middle school. I never forget. Antro Roll and Kelly Jennings stopped by my elementary when I was a kid to give out autographs at Gilbert Porter Elementary in Kendall, Florida. Yep. I never forget that. It was right after one of the national championship teams. I think it was like 2002. I think I was like in the 3rd or 4th grade around then. So long ago. But yes, it was around that time when I truly like became entrenched into it, and it just kind of developed from there, middle school to high school and everything. I never forget the high school years. So many guys that used to be Miami fans and then started wearing Gator jackets around school and everything.
Oh, Lord.
I got no respect for those guys.
No respect at all. Yes. I mean, I started being a Cane fan before they were obviously ranked ever. My friend Yui Citron had said, we're going to be top 20 next year or the year after. And I'm like, there's no way they're going to be top 20. We're going to be top 20. That's when Lou Saban was the coach. And, you know what? And sure enough, they got there, and then they became what they are now. All right, great show. Gio, you were phenomenal as usual. Mando, spectacular. The callers, I feel like I'm Neil Rogers or one of the sports shows. The callers were fantastic today. Thank you for everybody. Lots of new people joined in today, so we really appreciate that. Gio, I can see we had well over 1,000 people on right now, so there's quite a few people who are watching this thing today. Remember, today and tomorrow, if you're on the show, $16 off any $50 purchase with JMV, like for Juan Manuel Ventura, JMV $16 off any $50 purchase. I just got this shirt in. I love it. It's from Colombia, the people that do the PFG Tamiyamis. This is a short, one pocket, a little different. That same material, super light, phenomenal. We do have that in the store now and online with a lot of other new stuff. We're going to be back Thursday. Lots of good things. Please like and subscribe. We're trying to build this to be the best podcast anywhere and the biggest channel around. So, Mando, got anything before Gio closes off and gives everybody what they need to know?
No, absolutely. Thanks for everybody for watching, and great talking to you guys as always. And can't wait to see you guys Thursday.
I love your shirt, by the way, Mando.
It's from some store. Yeah, CanesWear, baby. You know, I wear this stuff.
Exactly. Gio?
All righty, everyone. Thank you, everyone that came out to watch this evening. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel, youtube.com/CanesWear. You could also find it up there in the top right of this stream. QR code. You could scan it, take you right to the page. Subscribe. We want to get those subscriber counts up. We're building this brand new channel. Please, the more support that you give to us and you watch and everything, the more we can provide more content, better content, more things in general. So with all that said, yes, we will be back Thursday. Yes, plenty of stuff to still discuss. I know some of you have been asking me the last 2 days, hey, we want some stuff on recruiting. I'm going to give you guys some of that stuff on Thursday. I'll have some stuff for you guys. I'm going to share some stuff in the private board tomorrow as well, just on the recruiting side of things. A lot going on around the program right now, especially for football, especially for baseball right now, more specifically them with their season going on. And basketball is going to be full swing with the transfer portal, so I'll have some updates with that. But for the most part, just go Canes. Make sure to shop at CanesWear, CanesWear.com, and we'll see you guys next time.
Go Canes.
See you next time. Go Canes.